Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 429. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Adam Vale.
How you doing?
And Brett Murdoch.
What's up, people?
Hey, Adam, how was WrestleMania?
Is it still going on, Adam?
Yeah, right.
It's still going on. Yo, that dude, WSC. What? Everybody on YouTube, just go to WSC. That dude, ridiculous WrestleMania shit. Oh my lord. The WrestleMania itself was great. 2 nights, a lot of chaos. It was fun. Love WrestleMania. WrestleMania always delivers. Doesn't matter if you don't know anything about wrestling. Something magical is going to happen.
That's good to know. No Brian action. We don't know what's going on over there. Well, he might be doing some stuff with his home. I know.
He's been working.
Yeah, he's been doing his thing.
Well, we can't make the save the queen joke, so now he has to save the king.
Yes, save the king. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, we don't know how far the French protests have spread. They could be all the way in England by now.
Yeah, right.
Man.
You don't know. Things are just kicking up again. All right, man, let's get into it. Not a lot of questions this week. Slow, nothing's going zones. But if you guys have any more questions you want to ask us during the show, feel free to. Also, I didn't edit these beforehand, so if it's fucked up, it's your fault.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
We're doing it live. All right, man, let's get into it. Tu meke. All right. With Resident Evil 4 Remake being said by some to have the most satisfying headshots in gaming, I thought it could make for some interesting conversation. So the question is, what game has the best? And here's the list. What game has the best headshot, death animations, climbing mechanics, fighting systems, driving mechanics, etc.?
That's
Adam. Just the best headshot is easy, and
it's Gears of War. Everybody
Gears of
knows
War.
that.
Yep.
Gears of War. The blood splats on your screen. It's like
and it makes the noise too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was awesome. Even with the chainsaw and all the blood just keeps squirting up. I was like, oh, this never stops.
Yeah, is that for headshots or death animation?
That's for headshot and death.
I thought it was death animations because if you use the
If
lancer
you
and
use the
bring
lancer,
it
that's
down.
not a headshot,
No, but
you cut them in
you
half.
can use a shotgun. And
That's right.
Remember
That's
when
right,
you run up and use a shotgun and they just explode?
And a sniper rifle too.
Yeah, and the sniper rifle. You just see it explode.
And it makes a cool noise. Yeah, for me, Gears of War takes the cake for both of those categories. The running, what is it, the traversal one or climbing one?
Yeah, climbing mechanics.
Assassin's Creed.
Gotta be.
Oh yeah. The especially the old ones and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So seamless, man.
I disagree.
Of course you do.
Oh,
Pero why?
Which one? Breath. You're gonna say Breath of the Wild, aren't you?
You're gonna say
Actually, I'm
Brett?
gonna say
Breath
Conan.
of the Breath of the Wild.
Conan Exiles?
Phoenix Rising. Phoenix
Conan
Rising.
Exiles expanded upon the Breath of the Wild system and actually does it way better.
Oh no, well, I mean that's not really hard to do, I guess. Just
Well-
remove the stamina system, and you already made it better.
For the longest
was it-
time, the option to climb anywhere was just not fucking possible, apparently, and that kind of pissed me off. Like, why the hell can't I climb that hill?
Yeah, but you got to deal with the stupid stamina. By the way, I'm throwing one category in here, and Brett, I know you'll agree with me. DC Universe Online, best flying.
Oh yeah, hands down. Man.
That's not even. There's not even a contest.
No, I don't know how they nailed it. They nailed that shit like Spider-Man nailed the best traversal.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Best traversal, Spider-Man. Best drive.
Although I gotta say, headshots and I gotta say it's either got to be Bulletstorm or Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Interesting.
One is super satisfying, trick shots, and one you get a kill cam that follows the bullet as it goes through the guy's fucking skull.
I think that qualifies as both greatest headshot and greatest death animation. Because if you shoot the motherfucker the right way, he just explodes.
Yeah, well, I'd have to counter that with Sniper Elite. Like Sniper Elite 4, if you do the
Yeah,
headshots,
oh,
it
yeah.
does
Oh,
the
yeah,
bullet.
yeah,
It does the bullet time,
yeah,
and you see the X-ray and the shot going right through the dude's skull and everything.
Oh yeah, that was
ripping
good.
apart.
Yeah, that was crazy. What about driving mechanic? If Brian was here, he'd be able to answer this better.
It depends. It's arcades.
You mean Burnout?
Yeah, Burnout. I was going to say
Burnout had
Burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burnout.
I would just go with that.
For
There's so many different ones.
Yeah, for arcade.
Yeah.
What about realistic or sim?
Well, the Forza 5 is awesome.
Yeah, it'd be Forza.
Yeah, Forza.
That
All right,
was
fair enough.
amazing.
What about Gran Turismo?
Forza's kind of a high watermark.
Wheel. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Dude, get a racing wheel and a VR headset for Forza and fuck.
Yeah.
You're in for it.
What about best fighting mechanics? And it doesn't have to be limited to fighting games.
The best fighting mechanics got to be the
like
Arkham series.
Yakuza.
Yeah, Yakuza it counts.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, fists or weapons.
Sifu was pretty good.
Honestly, I know I'm kind of one trick point here. I got to throw Souls on that pile, man. Like, it's the only game I know that has hitbox porn.
Yeah. What about your game, man? Absolver.
I really liked Absolver, but like, I don't know that it was objectively the best game. Like, it was a kind of a weird system, but fuck, it was fun. Yeah. But like, I don't know that it has a mass. Like, this question, it kind of defines like. No, I guess we can say for ourselves. Yeah, Absolver was one of the. For me, it was one of the most fun fighting games because building that kind of thing from the ground up was super. I mean, it also helped that I fucking hosed 98% of my online opponents. Like, I was just dominating that game.
Oh, I can attest to that. When the little bit I played with Brett, he was like, "Excuse me," and he'd just walk away and just start wrecking people. It was like a kung fu movie. Like, people be flying out the window around me. Like, oh shit,
hilarious.
I'm serious now. I just came for a beer.
You know.
Now you know what Souls Chris is like.
Well, it depends. Sometimes he can lead you astray and let you fall down a ditch.
Hey, listen, there's no guardrails in Souls. There's no crying in baseball, man. Come on.
Yeah, well, I think like somebody released stats, well, not somebody from software released stats of what killed players most. I think it was like close to 20% died from falling off a cliff. It's fucking hilarious.
You know,
it's usually hard. It's kind of hard.
Let me tell you, especially in PvP, and you don't take stock of your surroundings, you could just walk right to your death. You just like start dancing and moving, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm fine," and then bam, you just walk right off a cliff.
So the Last of Us, the remake or remaster, whatever, the new one, part 1 that they just did, I went to the accessibility options because they kept hyping how they added all these new features, and that's one of them. And it's like, oh, disable so that way you don't fall off cliffs and stuff. I'm like, I don't remember ever having that issue. And the Last of Us was like, oh, slipped off here. I don't remember that, but I guess it was a thing. So I was like, oh, I didn't turn it on.
What's the point of putting it in the cliff then?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's stupid. Oh, by the way, here's the exact number. I was like off, but not too off. 14% of deaths are caused by falling off. Like, God damn.
I gotta say, I'm disappointed with us as a group of gamers. We used to play games where the whole point was jumping over holes onto ledges. Like, that was the whole genre of the game. And now we can't walk up a hill.
They made a movie. That's what they did. That's what happened.
They're making movies now.
They're making movies now. So
no, but Brett, you're not wrong. Like in recent games, when I'm, like whenever there's like climbing like a section, I'm like, I miss the days when I could actually fail at these things. Like remember the early Assassin's Creed? You're climbing, your fucking assholes clinching, man. You're like, fuck, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up. Now you hold up, and you're gonna go all the way
That's
up.
It. He didn't even get tired. The dude has an energy bar up his ass.
You feel that scrotum just pinching like fuck.
Yo, Tony, that one level in Elden Ring where you have to go down and you have to jump those platforms. You're like,
every jump, you're like, fuck. You feel that.
Okay. For movement, I want to throw in there. And I'm still pissed at it, but Dying Light, man, like.
Dying Light is good stuff. Yeah.
It was. I think that was better than Mirror's Edge. Like, and it really nails that frantic. I don't know where I'm going. I'm climbing. I'm leaping. I'm jumping, and all of a sudden you're like falling down 3 floors, and you're like, oh shit.
I got to jump in on that. See, with Mirror's Edge, this is what I felt when I played Mirror's Edge. I'm like, you guys almost had it, man. You guys almost had it. And then when Dying Light, I'm like, you guys got it. Because like traversal like that in first person was always a tricky thing. No one had ever done it right. Mirror's Edge was the first one I came closest, but Dying Light was the one that set the trend for me. Like after that, like okay, every game was like, oh, that's how you do it.
Did you unlock all the moves?
Probably.
Did you be able to do that? Because that was, I remember I saw it was it a speed run? It was some run. This dude was parkouring all over the place. I'm like, what the hell? And then he showed the menu. He had everything unlocked.
And by the time you get everything unlocked,
you're fluid. Like he was jumping out of a second story window doing a tumble roll, and I'm like, this is
you're flying through the city like Infamous 1, man. It's just fucking crazy. And I think like you get a glider and you get a grappling hook.
You're all over the place. I was like, that's amazing. See,
if we're gonna talk about traversal, I gotta give a shout out
Infamous too, man.
Infamous and Just Cause.
Oh yeah, Just Cause is crazy.
Yeah.
Sticking on cars and stuff with the grappling hook while you're propelling down.
Getting sucked by a tornado.
That was that was your game for a while. At least the third one, right? Or four?
Well, the third one, I loved it. I still, the fourth one's in my backlog, but the third game, I love that game. I put the hell out of it.
Yeah, all right. That was a fun question. Let's move on here. He goes, fucking slow week. It's true. With those different PS symbols doing the rounds on the socials, what do you think it could mean? Go wild. Have you guys seen this shit? It's crazy. Like people have been posting just the PlayStation symbols, and I don't know what the hell it means. I don't know where it originated from.
PlayStation symbols?
Yeah.
Where are they posting them?
On Twitter, but I don't know where they originated from.
Are they pink?
No, it's just a white background, and the logo and the symbols are black, and they look like they were painted on or something, like with calligraphy. Carlos, it's in our Discord. The guys in the chat have been going crazy about it for like a couple of days now.
But what's wait? So this is in random locations. Someone's tagging up.
No. So apparently, it's people think it means Sony's getting ready for something. Again, I don't know. I've seen this shit all weekend. I'm like, what the fuck does this mean? And why are people going crazy over it? There's nothing here. It's just white background, black symbols, and that's it. I
don't know. Who knows? Anything happened. I remember when Obey and they were putting the Andre face. I'm like, oh, WWE's hyping something. It had nothing related with WWE.
That's what's been making the rounds. But I'm like, what is this supposed to signify?
What? I mean, are they going to announce PS5 Pro? They already kind of
No, but I mean, where does this originate from? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know. I didn't even know what was happening.
I'm reading the comments in this one. Now, I've seen this at least 5 times. What does this mean?
Where have they seen it? Where locations?
Twitter.
No, I mean, where in the world? It's only on Twitter? I thought it was in real locations.
No, it's on Twitter.
They're just posting it on Twitter, man.
Yeah, it's on Twitter. The question said on social media, yeah.
Oh, I thought social media has people posting it on social media.
Yeah. See, they are posting it on social media. There you go.
From a real world image.
No. You just assume that.
That's what I was thinking.
People don't go outside anymore, man.
Could it be for the patent of that new controller, universal controller they're talking about?
I don't know. Again, who the fuck knows, man? That's why I don't understand why people are going crazy when we don't even know the source of this.
Yeah, it could be anything.
It could be anything. So unfortunately, he said go wild, but it's like I don't know. There's nothing to go on. It's just a fucking. What about you guys in the chat? What do you guys think it is? Where does it originate from? Because I'm confused.
When did it start?
Yeah, it started on Friday, I believe. That's when I first saw it. It could have been before that, but that's when I first saw it. Some of the like I guess influencers, for lack of a better term, started posting it, and people are like, oh, what the fuck? But it's like, where did that originate from?
No one from Sony is doing any wink winks or anything about these things.
Not that I saw. I didn't see any official site posting this. I didn't see Sony's account doing it.
Because we got to be careful with the influencers because they spread the gospel of Hassan one time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't trust. I mean, if it comes from an influencer, you definitely shouldn't trust it. But yeah, I don't. We can't. We don't have enough to go on, guys. So sorry about that. All right. Bonus question: with Japan loving to do themed cafes for various games, what would be your ultimate cafe theme, and what would be your star main dish? Use in case of emergency question. Oh, here's another one. Okay, good. We got 2 questions coming up. Good. Yeah, we're taking them all.
We got an emergency question. That's brilliant. Break glass.
Okay, so let's answer this one first, and we'll use the break emergency. So, what would be your ultimate gaming cafe, and what would be your premier dish?
Oh, bro, Fallout Cafe.
That'd be pretty dope. So what would you have, like Brahmin meat or something? What's the name of that?
Well, I mean, like,
brats,
or like fucking some fancy lad snack cakes and shit. Like they'd have all kinds of snacks in there, and then what is it, cram and shit like that. And I don't know if they'd have like rad scorpion meat, but like they could make something out. Like make a steak and call it that for all I care.
And Brett, when you go in, you have to use your money or your card to get out those caps to pay with.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Brett, Kishak goes Deathclaw omelet.
Yeah. Oh, have to use like an ostrich egg for that shit or something.
Yeah. What other cafes?
And Nuka-Colas.
Nuka-Cola, yeah.
I mean, you have Nuka-Cola. You have like the vibe of like wasteland chic, like it's more like a New Vegas kind of thing than straight built out of trash. And you got all the music playing in the background, like you built some dope ambiance in that.
Yeah.
Have some motherfuckers in power armor come through once an hour.
Yeah, the first thing that I'm thinking about is a Calico themed cafe, because you could kill two birds with one stone: the cat stuff and the Monster Hunter, and those dishes look good as hell. So
yeah, Monster Hunter's cafe would be crazy, or a bar or whatever. Yeah,
get those calicos to go wild, man. Start making your shit.
Yeah. So by the way, for me, I'll just switch it to a bar because I'm not a cafe guy. Monster Hunter bar, that'd be dope. Get those steaks and shit, But just to make sure that you don't have cats cooking my shit,
Jesus, be like Monster Hunter Cafe, where every meal is a mukbang.
God no. All right, fuck it, I'll go down the line. Manny, what kind of cafe / bar, inspired by a video game would you like?
I don't know. Let's go with the Nier Automata bar.
What would be the main dish?
I don't know. You just name it all kinds of cyborg things and have the little robots all over the place. You have the ladies, the servers dressed up like the Yorha androids.
Damn, or 2B motherfuckers will really go there,
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm like, shit, let's go.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: like all the Yorha, androids all dress up like Lolitas, right?
Yeah.
So you literally have a bunch of Lolita servers, and they also have like a couple of dudes in there, whatever. Yeah, and you just have it all look all like all either post-apocalyptic or like slick and futuristic, like their space station.
Yeah, that's a good one. Adam, what about you? I know you could go nuts with this question.
There's a bunch, but I don't know. The first thing that popped in my head, besides Fallout, because that'd just be fun, just to have all that and pay with bottle caps and weird shit, would be Mass Effect.
Like the Citadel and shit.
Yeah, because remember there was a themed Mars restaurant off Broadway. Remember Midtown?
Yeah, I remember
for a while.
No, but I'm thinking you're right. They could make like the Omega bar from shit.
It could look like that with the theme, and then with the windows could just be LCD screens showing like what the universe looks like, as if you're on another space station and stuff. That'd be cool. So I would definitely go.
Yeah, I like that. Any of those Mass Effect bars.
Yeah, because if you're gonna do something like this, you got to theme it out. You can't be like some Blanche, Grand Theft Auto, or something stupid. It's like that's every other bar in Brooklyn. You want something special. You want something that yeah, you're gonna come up with a creepy dude named Jacob. Like, yo, I got some gun for you. Come to me with Jamaica. Yeah, we know you. We want something surprising, and that type of world, Mass Effect or the Fallout universe, or something over the top that like you bring somebody.
Yeah, you have some girls dressed up like a sorry fucking pole dancing and shit.
You feel like you just went somewhere else, and you know what? Make it special. Make it by reservation. You can't just show up. You have to go sign up. That way they know you didn't just stumble in. You know what to expect, and you don't get freaked out when you see shit like that.
Yeah, that's my answer to Mass Effect, the Omega bar specifically. That'd be crazy.
I got a backup. But I want to wait until everybody's answered first.
Right. Who didn't go yet?
I didn't go yet, but all those suggestions sound awesome. I'm like thinking, What could top that? Especially a Mass Effect bar.
Yeah,
Shit.
man. With those Asari, let's go.
And then the Monster Hunter idea, I was like, damn, because those are great themes, and they had food themes in them, or alcohol or whatever, and dancing, and clubbing. I mean, the only thing I would want to see is like, I don't know, maybe something like Final Fantasy, like a Final Fantasy themed bar.
Yeah. Oh,
because there's so many different characters.
With that cooking from Final Fantasy 15. Let's go.
Yeah. That's the only other thing I could think of. Everything else is great. Like I was like, Halo? Nah, I don't want to drink in a Halo bar. Fuck Halo.
No. Damn, this was almost 10 years ago. I went to PAX East, right? And we went to like a party, and the theme was the first, the remake Wolfenstein that came out at that time. And it was dope because it was all like 1960s and shit, and they were playing that crazy music that they have in the game. The remix of classic songs, but like with German words instead. I'm like, this is cool.
Wow.
A final fight bar.
Everybody's like beating each other.
Just go to Brooklyn, man. Or the Bronx.
Go to the Bronx.
Go to the Bronx.
I think every town has at least one of those bars.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, Manny, I saw your tweet about the Bronx stairs. You were like, yeah, fuck around and find out what happens when you go to Bronx.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened the last time when that Joker shit showed up before. I'm like, oh man, now we're gonna have a bunch of stupid ass motherfuckers dressing up like the Joker, dancing up some stupid ass stairs, and watch their asses get whipped. And what happened?
Yep.
Yeah.
The fucking neighborhood literally freaking rejected them like a what is it, an invading virus.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you're never gonna gentrify the Bronx.
No,
Never.
you are not gonna gentrify the Bronx. It is not gonna happen.
They can do a few streets here and there, but they can't do full neighborhoods.
It may be a block, and then to be honest, the block will you watch that block get knocked over by a wave of the Bronx.
The Bronx it refuses to be tamed.
Yeah. There's parts of the Bronx that look like bombed out Berlin from World War II. What the fuck?
There is specifically a reason why they chose to film the Joker out in the Bronx, and it's because the Bronx still looks like it is 1985 or the 70s.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a throwback. Nothing has changed over there. Maybe some folks got some cell phones, but that's about it.
The Bronx, man.
Nobody goes there.
Yeah.
No.
So no final fight bar for me. That's too much like the Bronx. All right. Who else? Oh, Brett, you said you had some backups.
Yeah, I got it back. I'm surprised nobody said this. The Cyberpunk Diner.
Oh, yeah, that'd be interesting.
The bar. What's her face's bar from the game?
Yeah.
I don't know what.
The bar. Or dude, that little fucking weird
afterlife
cyberpunk little diner they go to looks dope.
Yeah, I do like that diner. Either of those are good. The Afterlife bar and that little diner. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I mean, you can make your even just like a cyberpunk themed bar. I would be 120% in on that shit.
Yeah, that'd be dope. All right, good stuff. Anybody else want to throw in other ones?
Yeah, let's go crazy. Ninja Turtles. Let's go into the sewers.
Oh,
that's also the Bronx.
But we'll let it smell like turtle poop and
or the sewers.
Man!
They have to because
the rats.
Yeah, if anybody listening ever had a pet turtle, they know that those shit stink.
Oh yeah.
They have to pump that through the air vents. Once you walk in, you got to get that whiff. You're like, what the hell? And it's we're going for authentic here.
Man.
We're keeping it real. And then, you can't have real rats because that's not sanitary. But just put some of the little rubber ones just around, like on the ground and corners and stuff, just to give that feel. So I'd go to that shit twice.
Yeah. Oh, the Turtles bar in the fucking sewer.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
That's it.
All right. Moving on. Him, Kishak. Who I also believe is in the building tonight. I thought I saw him. Yeah, there he is. What's up, man? All right. Okay. Do you guys feel like gamers nowadays are extremely short-sighted and self-centered, especially regarding the Activision Blizzard deal? Oh boy. They are not thinking of the precedent set forth by this acquisition and the consequences later down the line. They're too preoccupied with getting free games from Game Pass. The gamers celebrating this M&A are acting just like the baby boomers, fucking over the future for personal gains in the present. Damn, tell me how you really feel, bruh.
It reminds me of when music started fading out, like for buying in stores, and you had to go digital. And it was that same argument. It was like, you got to support the music stores. You got to support it. You can't let these stores take over. They're going to take all the music. But then you start seeing the convenience of it, and you got iPods and all that stuff. And now we just have our phones and everything's on it. And it just changes the game. And that's really what it is. This is just progression. Whether it's Sony doing it or Nintendo, whoever, someone was going to have to do this. Because this is how it's going in all mediums. We've seen it in music. We've seen it in movies with all the streaming services also. And now here we go with games. So it was going to happen regardless, whether it's any of the big boys. And so I don't see the issue here. I know some people hate, well, it's Microsoft. All right, well, then let Tencent. Would be happy if they did it because they were the only other people that had that type of money to burn. So
I mean, EA did it about, like, here's the thing, like, it's part of the natural life cycle as far as I'm concerned, because, like, these studios get acquired, and if they're not pretty much allowed to operate the way that they want to operate, eventually the founding members leave and just create a new studio, which they're perfectly allowed to do.
Yeah, they could just do that.
And, you know, again, they make a success, and then they go acquired. Like, being acquired is almost the life cycle of some of these companies. And it
that's
doesn't
the goal. Sometimes that's the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can get the big budgets and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it's not like talent is being locked in a prison and you'll never see it again. Like, it's, you know, also, like, historically, exclusives have been good for gaming. They've been the main reason that there's competition, and competition breeds innovation. We've stopped getting that since Sony took the king of the hill. And, like,
whoa.
What, like, Sony's been on top for a while, and they haven't really tried innovating much. They've just kind of perfected their formula. They don't need to innovate. There's no incentive there to do it.
I was like, what do you say? They stopped innovating since Tony. I'm like, I was about to be
Tony started. Since Tony opened up his Twitter account, fucking Tony said, we're done with this shit.
Yeah, pack it in, bias. No, it's a lot of the best games I've ever played have been exclusives, and I don't think that a lot of the younger people really remember what it was like when the incentive was to put out the best game possible. So everybody's talking about you, not, you know, because now we live in this day and age of, like, how much bullshit will our customers take? And that's kind of what happens when you don't have healthy competition. It's kind of the whole reason, you know, the whole argument of what's going on now. And I don't see, like, I see the precedent of not being able to acquire or being able to acquire as many companies as possible, but, like, it's judged on a case-by-case basis, and honestly, the precedent was set by people like fucking Disney a while ago, man.
Fuck Disney.
So it's, and again, like, who, when we're talking better, like, better for who? With exclusives, I've seen better games. With this Game Pass deal, the developers seem like they're happier because it gives them some security and allows them to branch out and try new things and make their games more successful. Like, we've gotten stuck in a rut that's only gotten worse for the past decade. How do you suggest we fix that other than bring back healthy competition? For a studio that was languishing on its fucking deathbed, by the way.
Mm-hmm. You just got to remember that these games that go on Game Pass, these developers are getting paid a lump sum up front, plus bonuses. So it's not like, oh, they're not going to make any money. They are. A lot of them look forward to it. They make money. It's a Spotify model.
Sounds like the studios aren't the only ones getting paid here.
There we go. You're right.
Yeah, well, no, to me, it's the weirdest thing, because people are like, oh, Game Pass is, you know, taking advantage of these games. The developers are like, no, it's not. And they're like, these developers are just not making the money they need to. And they're like, no, we made more money than we thought. We're actually all good over here. We're making a sequel. Like, but it's weird that people will land hard on how they feel and completely dismiss what the makers of the fucking game say.
Yeah,
I'm sure. By the way, it's bad for developers.
Kishak says, I don't care who is buying who. I just don't like the precedent set forth.
It's been that way, though. Yeah. Like, the EA was gobbling companies up decades ago, man.
Yeah. You know,
And EA destroyed them.
Yeah. It didn't stop that talent from recycling. Most of the companies that we're talking about at one point were people working for another company. Like that's how it works. This isn't the first time the talent has kind of cycled through the pool. And
it's not the first time. It's not the first time Microsoft's bought someone and just made them make avatars.
You know, Ray or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, right now, Call of Duty's hurting real bad, so who knows? This might just bite them in the ass.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of a proof that they're not going to let Microsoft just run around and buy everyone. You know, they're being pretty critically scrutinized, I think, at this point. So,
but it's not their fault if the company says, "Hey, we're up for sale." It's not a corporate takeover.
Well, yeah.
Anybody could have came over and threw that money down.
They were begging people to take them.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. If Microsoft decides to buy, I don't know, THQ Nordic, for example. I don't know who owns THQ Nordic, but if they get the equivalent of THQ Nordic, I don't think they're going to get as much pushback as they did with this Activision deal, because I don't think Sony, the main proprietor of the pushback, is going to care as much for not getting THQ Nordic like they are right now, that they're going to lose potentially, make Call of Duty an exclusive Microsoft game.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Sony to just pretty much try to block future acquisitions at this point. I don't know that I even necessarily blame them, because, you know, we've seen a lot of acquisitions. We don't want to see the industry actually get one-sided. You know, that goes for when I say exclusives and healthy competition are good. I don't want to see that swing one way or the other. I'm not saying, like, I want to see Microsoft win. I want to see both of them trying to outdo each other and me winning for it.
We need competition. We needed to keep balanced, at least the best we can, because once one runs away, we've seen it on both ends. Their heads blow up, and then next you know it's a TV, movie, and buy this connect. It's like, no, we don't want that shit. No. So we hope there is a balance, because then in the case where Sony, they run away with it, and then they start cock blocking for everything, because then they have that pull. They pull a Nintendo. You can't sell here. We'll block you, blah, 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 for developers, and it puts them in a hard spot.
Yeah, I mean, if Microsoft, for example, decides to acquire Take-Two, then we're gonna see this bloodbath all over again.
Oh God.
Oh
yeah, they're making money through their sport games. I don't see them.
So I'm curious, because Kishak's in the chat. Like, what about this, man? Like, what about this would ruin the future of gaming? Like, are you just afraid that it's become too one-sided on Microsoft's side? Are you afraid that the acquisitions are just going to keep coming until there's only two publishers and they're both Sony and Microsoft? Because I don't see either of those happening.
Good question. All right, we'll give him a minute to answer. But I think that is kind of the worry, that basically we're just going to end up with like 4 publishers or something. Like, I know I think that may be a precedent people are worried about. But it's kind of like you guys say, it's like you can't really, it sucks, but you can't really stop it. So it's like, what are you going to do? You know?
And if those people get miserable, they leave and they start a new company.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, if they don't like it, they just form their own shit. So I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we just have like 3 or 4 mega publishers. I don't think that's ever gonna really happen. You may have like some that are just. I mean, we already kind of have that. We already have a couple of mega publishers, but there's always the small guys. By the way, here's what he says, Brett. They are sending a message that everyone is for sale and that anybody can come in and buy up everyone, and no one can stop it.
No, it's not. They didn't ask if they were for sale. Activision put themselves up for sale. It's not like when that story of when Microsoft went to Nintendo and said, "Hey, how much?" and they laughed them out the building. Then that's different. But if there was multiple parties involved, yes, Microsoft accepted, but they pointed that offer to Google. They pointed the offer to Facebook. Don't know if they pointed to Amazon, but Activision said, "Hey, this is how much we were willing to sell. Anybody interested?"
Yeah,
So
again,
Ubisoft tried to sell themselves.
Yeah, again, this is something we need to keep stressing. Microsoft did not go out to. They wasn't their goal to like, hey, let's buy up Activision. Activision came to them, you know.
Dude, and Ubisoft went to Microsoft, and Microsoft laughed at Ubisoft.
Yeah, so it's not like Microsoft is just trying to gobble up anyone. They're gonna just, they're gonna take whoever they think is gonna be better for them. But again, they didn't go, oh, we got Bethesda, now let's get Activision. It wasn't like that, but that's what people seem to think,
And they're not the only ones. The FTC felt the same way. And the E3 CMA,
they all thought the same thing. Yeah, and like I said, and you guys, I'm pretty sure you agree. I think you probably already said this. It's like after this, Microsoft's probably going to slow down. They're probably going to be like, no, we're good. Even if somebody comes up to them, it's like,
they have to make money now. They have to make this money back.
Yeah, they have to produce.
Yeah, that's why that whole thing with Ryan saying, oh, they're going to make it the worst version. I was like, are you kidding me? They're going to go broke then. They can't do that. They have to keep pumping these games out on all platforms the best they can, so people just keep playing and buying them. Look, this isn't chump change. Yeah, Microsoft has money for days, but they still have to bring some money back in. Because remember, this money they're spending is not Xbox money. This is from Windows, Office 365. Those are the money maker for Windows from Microsoft. It's not Xbox. So they have to put more money back into the piggy bank because of all the money they're taking out. They have to prove their worth. Uncle Phil has to prove it, or else he's out.
I wonder if the Xbox division has ever generated $70 billion of revenue over its lifespan.
That's a good question. Probably not. No.
Probably not. Yeah. Which is freaking crazy to think that they it's like Phil Spencer is little Timmy and the CEO's daddy. He's like, Daddy, give me Activision.
Actually, you kind of bring up a good point though. Like, this is I don't think this should be framed as Microsoft wanting to gobble up as many companies as possible, and it's going to continue indefinitely. I think it should be looked at. Microsoft is investing a fuck ton into trying to reinvent themselves and their platform. And that includes a lot of stuff like hemorrhaging money on Game Pass at first and acquiring studios to make a ton of games. Because they don't need just some games. They don't. I think we've talked about this before. Like, they are not going to repair their reputation, even having the same amount of high quality, successful releases as Sony does. Like, you can't just keep pace with Sony and win your reputation back at this point. Like, they have to get the optics of, wow, that's a lot of games.
And they're so close when it comes to just being in the conversation. Because think about this. If Microsoft says, you know what, we're done, we're out, who's next? That's it. You just have Nintendo and Sony. It's done. And according to the FTC, there is no Nintendo. That doesn't exist. They're not even in the same round.
Tencent.
Right? Yeah. Well, Tencent would have to then create a console. That's what I'm saying. If they want to jump into that market, there's nobody else. So they haven't competed. There's no other third one up if you don't want to count Nintendo going with the high end, unless you count PCs. So then that would be it. You would have Sony dominating when it comes to the mature high end tech, whatever, for consoles, and then for everybody else, you have Nintendo and then the PC. And do you want that? Because then at that point, Sony could do whatever they want. Don't want that.
Yeah, that's how you get $80 games.
Yeah, exactly. And then what are you going to say? Like, oh, well, go get a PC then if you don't want to pay this.
Or they'll tell us, go get a forced job.
Oh, shit.
Also, but here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Like, we want to talk about good for the industry. When a company, like in Adam's hypothetical, developers are fucked. Like, they are just straight fucked. You have to play by Sony's rules or you're not going to get a game published, pretty much, period, unless it's exclusively for PC. And that's bad. That's when you see bad results happen. Less effort being put into games, more microtransactions, more abusive, like, that's anti-consumer, how you get anti-consumer shit right there.
And that's when all of a sudden we see, oh, what's this new launcher here? What's Sony launcher? What all the games are being pulled from Steam and Epic. What's happening here? That's when they'll be like, you know what? We're just going to try to dominate this market as well. We're not going to play.
Okay, and they would.
They definitely would.
Because they absolutely already make those deals where they could say, if you release on PC, you can't release on PlayStation. Like
I like how the guys that are coming with the what is it? Microsoft fanboy fan fiction about Sony. What Sony would do to ruin the industry.
dude, that's not fan fiction. They do that now.
But they do that now. They don't need to monopolize the industry to do that.
Well, they've already kind of monopolized the industry, which is why they can do that.
Just if there was no other, if Microsoft just backed out, because the way they were saying is like if they can't compete, if they decide, we're done, who else? What other big company would come into the console market to compete with Sony? They won't, because they're like, shit, you just had Mr. Moneybags from Monopoly over here, and they failed, and they couldn't pull it off. So why would we even bother? I think you guys overestimate Sony and how much money they actually have. It's not about money. It's just about the interest. Remember, they post up in Europe, they're 85%. People love their Sonys. That's it. People love Sony in general. So if Microsoft is gone, they're just going to keep buying Sony. And then Sony can do whatever they want with other things because they don't have that direct competition. Nintendo's not jumping in that space with these.
Hold on. We're talking in a world where they already artificially hold games back from PC and make deals to keep things off of other platforms. You really think it's a lot to guess that they would make deals to keep things off of PC? Really?
No, but you're talking about every game in existence is going to happen to every game in existence. No.
Well, if Microsoft,
if Microsoft fails and there's a power vacuum, over $100 billion worth at that time of Call of Duty, of Fallout, of Elder Scrolls, of Ninja Theory, of fucking whatever's left of Rare and E343 and the Coalition and Gears of War and all of those games, Sony is not going to be like, oh, we just have enough money to publish all of these games. There's going to be a power vacuum. Someone's going to suck in. It's going to be the Saudis. It's going to be someone China. It's going to be someone else. It's going to
and it would not be a real competition because would you buy a 10-cent system?
But you're acting like Sony is the one that's going to hold all the cards. They're not.
Dude, for the consoles, they're doing it right now. I'm giving them credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
they're a shrewd company that uses the market to their advantage, and I don't suddenly expect them to stop doing that if Microsoft would go out of business.
Sony only owns the cards of the games that they publish themselves.
No, dude. What about Square Enix? They constantly pay Square Enix not to put stuff on
they pay.
If that was the case, the FTC wouldn't have gotten involved. They wouldn't have given this shit.
Yeah, but
they saw this, they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, they're gonna hurt Sony."
But anyone can submit a complaint.
I gotta put this down. Are you saying that they don't pay games to not release on other platforms? Because that's straight up. That's straight up.
I never said that. That's your fan fiction. That's your headcanon.
It's not fiction. I'm talking about what they're doing now.
No, I'm saying you're saying that I'm saying that is your fan fiction.
Okay. So what I'm asking, what is the point?
What I'm saying is Sony, if Microsoft fails, there's going to be a power vacuum of all these titles, of all these IPs, of all of these developers, and Sony doesn't have the means and the funds to just gobble all of them up and control them.
No. They wouldn't have to. They're the only console in town when it comes to that.
But we already know that consoles are going to be the part of the way of the dinosaur in 10 years.
We know this. They don't know this.
By the way, real quick, Brett, Blitz says that you need to read the articles about explaining why Square Enix doesn't release their games on Xbox. And I'm assuming it's because Xbox gamers don't play them, which is probably true.
I mean, it's entirely possible. It doesn't discount the fact that they get a check from Sony for doing it.
Yeah. By the way,
it was the games for putting on.
That part is proven in the
Game Pass stuff. Yeah, paying for the Game Pass.
By the way, Kishat goes, when it was reported, I'm guessing it's related. When it was reported that Joseph Staten was leaving Microsoft, does Microsoft Xbox have a talent retention problem? Okay, that's a little bit different. I do want to answer that, but let's stick with this one for now. This one's related. Blitz says, if I'm hearing things correctly, if I'm hearing the Xbox boys correctly, Sony bad for gaming, Xbox good?
No. Anybody who is in basically a one-party system is bad for gaming. It was bad when Microsoft was dominating. It was way worse when fucking Nintendo was dominating. They did some real shitty stuff in the 80s and 90s, man.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Terrible
bad
company.
when there's no competition, because when there's no competition, the people releasing the games have no incentive to do more than they need to, right? They have no incentive to push the boundaries because they're making all the money. And when you have a disproportionate amount of power, like 80% of the industry, you can kind of look at people and be like, it's us or them, and you're effectively controlling the industry without gobbling anybody up. You don't have to pay anybody. They're just going, I mean, they just do it because they would rather be on the console that has 80% of the market share than the one that has 20. There's just a lot of bad that comes from it. And this is where I think people get confused. I'm giving Sony the benefit of the doubt of dominating for the last 20 years. Like, I'll repeat that because I don't know if people hear that over, I guess, whatever Xbox t-shirt I'm wearing. Sony has completely trounced the industry for 20 fucking years. They have destroyed their competition. And I don't think Tencent or Amazon or Google or any of these jackoffs have a chance of coming up with a system that would possibly compete with them. Not when you've had Microsoft battling in the trenches for 10 years and they still can't fucking do it.
Can't do it.
Sony's dominated so much over the last couple of decades that it can't do shit about the fact that they're not gonna that's Microsoft, their biggest competitor, is gonna have access and exclusivity to the game that they covet the most. That's some crazy ass power. I don't disagree with the main point of competition is needed for the betterment of the industry. But I feel like you guys are coming up with some crazy ass scenarios about Sony.
I'll give you one. Here's one. Just because everyone keeps saying it's a Microsoft thing. Microsoft tried this. They tried this on PC when they did their relaunch for their Windows store, and they pulled all their games from Steam. And they were like, nope, everything's going to be on the Windows store. This is it. This is where we're going to sell and we're going to dominate. And it didn't happen. They threw all this money in advertising. They put a lot of their first-party games that were never on there. We wound up getting a Gears of War game that was only on PC. Those things actually didn't come out until much later for the content that they put for that Gears. And it didn't work. And then eventually they're like, you know what? We're just going to play it nice. Fuck it. We can't do it. And then they put it out on Steam. So they tried it. But my whole point is if Microsoft, which is considered the big number 2, if they drop off, I don't see any other big company jumping.
They're not number 2, by the way.
They're not. But when it comes to that number, that type of hardware, according to FTC and the CMA, they are number 2. So I'm going off of how they see it. The world sees it as number 2. Okay.
Nintendo doesn't count.
They don't want to count Nintendo. They didn't bring the shit up, which is dumb. So my whole thing is if another company doesn't come into that console room, it's like, nah, fuck it. We're not bothering with that. So then that's it. When it comes to consoles, you only have a Nintendo handheld, whatever, which we already know. They don't play with power. They play with their IPs. They don't focus on that. All right, well, or you can go with a Sony device, and then what? And that's it. Then go get a PC if you don't like Sony shit. It's not that Sony's going to gobble everybody up. They don't have to. They're the only game
they
in
can't.
town.
They literally
But it doesn't matter. Because they're the only game in town. If you were the only Starbucks in town and someone wants Starbucks, where do they go?
That's where you're wrong. I feel like you well, let me explain. I feel like what you guys are mentioning is a world where consoles are the only game in town. Consoles
I just said PC. You heard me. I said PC multiple times.
No, but you said, but I feel the future is in streaming. That's why Game Pass is such a great, viable sort of platform for Microsoft, is because that's the future.
No, it's not. It's not there yet. Streaming
GeForce Now.
That even just got
Game
passed in court. They even recognized that. And Brian even said it. He was like, yeah, it's not a viable platform. Streaming is not there yet. The quality is not there yet.
It's not there yet, but it will get there.
It will be, but it's not now. So if let's say this happened now where the Xbox One bombed, we know that. Everybody knows it. Xbox One bombed. If they said, we're done. We're not even making a Series X or any of that shit. We're out. That's it.
Microsoft is not going to die anytime soon. We're talking about a scenario where Microsoft would die, and that's not going to be anytime soon.
Let me try this. Let me give you another hypothetical. Let's say that Microsoft acquires enough big studios and dominates to the point where Sony can't compete, and Sony taps out of the game. You know what happens in that instance? All of the same shit I said about Sony.
Yep. Everything happens. Yep.
Microsoft either dominates by making their own platform on Steam and basically driving Steam out of business, or they basically push games away onto console. More likely with Microsoft, it would be the other one, but they would still find a way to get that other 20% or whatever that PC gaming is of the entire market. And if there was still any kind of like broken vestige of a Tencent system or a Google system or whatever, they would probably make deals to keep things off of them because they own enough of the market share that they'd be able to do that. And we've all seen what happens when Microsoft gets unchecked power. They do not deal with it well. Right? So like it's the same doomsday scenario in a different color. It's the ending of Mass Effect 3, right? Like, sure, I may say that we may be framing it in the green ending because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about if Sony dominated as opposed to balancing out a fair market because, and this is another part I want everybody to hear, because Microsoft dominating Sony out of the field is just a ridiculous premise.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous that it doesn't bother bringing it up. I don't say it out of fanboyism. I say it because it's never going to fucking happen. But it's weird, to me at least, that I can't make a strong point without saying something good about Sony and something bad about Microsoft. It's just a weird fucking thing to me. But it's the same point. Having one company in charge of dominating the industry is bad for us. Because that's how you get shit games. That's how you get more expensive games. That's how you get predatory, exploitative practices, right? If nobody's there, if there's no other option, you'll just take that shit because you don't have another option.
I don't think that Microsoft and Sony being in control and those contrasting scenarios are equivalent because Sony is leaps and bounds and by metric tons an inferior company than Microsoft is.
We're not asking that which if it's a company, we're talking about the console. Microsoft is huge, but if they say, hey, we're done making console, just like we're done making cell phones, and they let someone else come in, where the whole argument was who would come in? That's it. Who else would want to compete? Nobody would. We're talking
about power here. If Sony is the only game in town, they only have as much power as they can control. And what's that? The consoles? Yeah, sure. They own a console where a whole bunch of other places can put their games in. And then there's the other thing with their war chest. What can they do? If all these studios that Microsoft drops, is Sony going to be acquiring all on? I don't know. I don't think so.
They don't need to.
Yeah, they don't need to acquire them.
Let's say, hold on. Let me finish. Let's say Sony dies. We have The Last of Us. We have Ghost of Tsushima. We have God of War, Ragnarok, and whatever all their franchises, Uncharted, Neil Druckmann's fucking shorts. Everything is up for sale. Microsoft has the ability to acquire it all. Sony doesn't.
No, there's plenty of other companies that would jump on. Apple has the money.
And Microsoft is one of them.
Amazon has them. Microsoft is one of them. But we're still talking about if they were to close up shop. So let's say if Microsoft was to close up shop, do you think Sony would even give a shit about Halo and Gears and Forza?
Well, it doesn't matter because they can't afford them.
I don't think they would give it. They could afford it. If it's a blowout sale, if you're closing up shop, everything has to go. There's no reason to hoard anything.
Well, it'll go to the highest bidder, and it's definitely not Sony.
It'll go to the highest bidder.
Sony cannot compete with the other elite companies.
Oh, okay. Let me just kind of move this along in the sense of okay. So we're talking about one company, no matter what the company, being bad. And I'm not really following, and maybe this is just me, I'm not really following the point of why does it matter how Microsoft or Sony would be different flavors of bad if one company ruled them all? Like that's why does that matter? It doesn't.
Because one holds significantly more power than the other.
Okay, so
Sony can be nefarious. Sony, I do agree. If Sony's the only game in town, it's a bad thing. But what I'm saying is, it's all relative because Microsoft has the ability to control it all. Sony that does not even come close to having that power.
Yeah, well, we didn't say anything about that though. All we were saying is it's bad as if one company runs everything.
You said it'll be the same. You said it'll be the same with Microsoft than it is with Sony. Literally said that.
Yeah, we're saying the same as if
Yeah,
one was a drop.
hold on.
No one wants Sony to go out of business. Nobody
Why
wants
would
that.
Microsoft need to acquire anybody if they put Sony out of business? They own enough of the market share not to have to spend the money and still control those companies. Why would they acquire them?
Well, why does Microsoft why does Microsoft need to acquire Bethesda when they already had a working partnership where most of the games worked better on Xbox consoles?
I don't know, probably because Sony was paying for timed exclusivity.
Yeah, there was a lot of it. So it's like if you go to your favorite spots and they're like, hey, we can't serve because we have this tied up or we have certain items we can't sell to you. It's like, you know what? Fuck that. How much for you?
I will ask this. Does anyone else, probably no one cares, but does anyone else understand what I'm trying to say, or is it all going to deaf ears?
All this entire conversation is going over my head. I don't give a shit anymore.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. I'm already bored of this shit. I don't care. All right. But we still got another question. Rest kind of related. When it was reported that Joseph Staten was leaving Microsoft, does Microsoft Xbox have a talent retention problem? I know 343 does, right?
Depends on what your definition of problem is. Turnover is naturally going to be higher after acquisitions, but I don't think that it's an abnormal amount. Like, I don't think we're seeing people leave in droves, but I think you're seeing a fair amount of people kind of transition after they get acquired. I mean, you get a golden parachute, you get the option to jump out. Maybe you want to start your own game company. It's actually pretty common after mergers.
By the way, Kishak understood you, Carlos, so there you go.
Hey, one person.
Yeah. By the way, just real quick. Yeah.
Shout out to Kishak.
Yeah, because shout out to everybody, man. Just real quick, Manny, I'm gonna throw you in here too, just cause. Apologies for not being too engaged in this. I honestly stopped caring, man. It's so fucking stupid. I wish we were talking about games, not this acquisition nonsense.
I wish we were talking. I wish we were talking about the great new games that are coming out for Xbox or PlayStation. But we need to be. We're all stuck in this constant thing of having to, talk about like all the behind the scenes stuff, dirty work that's all going on in the public. It's like that WWE stuff. That happened not long ago. The shit that's going behind the scenes. The shit that's going behind the scenes is more interesting than what's going on the fucking show. There's more drama behind the scenes happening that's going on. That's more interesting on the show. Now the thing is that would you stop? No, stop it.
Right now, the future. UFC is the future.
No, I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying in general, it's like, we're trying to make excuses over what's this or yada. It's happening, whatever. Let's fucking move on. Let's play our fucking games. How about that?
There you go. I don't know why people
listen. All this shit means is that Sony needs to work a little bit harder to get the shit that they go out. They can't be surfing along now on their good old reputation like Microsoft was doing in Xbox 360 era when they were doing the same goddamn thing as fucking as Sony was doing. Same shit, tit for tat, and everybody his name. That's it. Let's now. I wish everything would just close up the shop, and then we finally have something to talk about. And again, all this potential floating around in the universe of the in the Microsoft universe going right now, and they still don't have those cornerstone games to get people to get on there, and that's the main thing. Okay, you got Activision. Okay, you got Bethesda. Give it to us.
But we need the people that y'all need to ask us some questions about games if you want to hear us actually talk about games, especially on Sunday's show, man. Like Wulong just came out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. By the way, just to make it clear, I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining why I didn't participate in that question. But the thing is, I obviously wanted, you guys are asking us, so we're going to give you the best comprehensive answer possible. I was just stating why Manny and I were just like, nah, we're good. I think you three guys did an excellent job in that exchange. So
debate.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
I just want to hear about some games. I don't want to.
But there's no games. That's the problem.
I just want to hear.
Yo, Tony, there's nothing coming out on PlayStation you're excited for? I thought there was something coming up. I know Redfall's coming out.
What's out right now that I care about? Nothing. The only game I'm looking forward to is the fucking Jedi Survivor game, and that's where I've been waiting for 4 months for that since the year started. You know?
Have you tried Wulong? You beat
I'm not.
Elden
I don't
Ring?
give a fuck about Wulong, man.
You
I
beat
told
Elden Ring and you used to play Ninja Gaiden, man.
I don't. I never cared for Ninja Gaiden that much, and I told you I was very specific about this. When it comes to those Soulsborne games, I accept no substitutes from Software Miyazaki. Nothing else, man.
But you just said you were excited for a substitute.
No, I wasn't.
What do you think Jedi Fallen Order is?
That's not really a substitute.
It's a Soulsborne.
Yeah. No, I don't consider it Soulsborne. There's a little sprinkle of it. I'll give you that, but it's not really that. It's really more of a straight up action adventure game. You know?
Yeah, to be honest, it's like it's just more in the line of those action adventure sorts of games with a little bit of that Soulsborne.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's not like full on. But yeah, I'm just speaking for myself. I know there's a lot of games for other people, and I'm glad you're enjoying them. And listen, credit where credit's due. Resident Evil 4, fucking awesome. You know, so we are getting something, but we are not getting the amount of like big AAAs that we used to get, and this is something we've been talking about since the outset of this generation. So nothing new there. I sound like a fucking parrot at this point, you know, complaining about the current.
Y'all excited for Redfall at all?
No, I don't give a fuck about that.
No,
am I the only one?
Am I the only one? Yeah, you probably are.
This time you are.
Well, I mean, according to a lot of people who've tested that thing, it's not even that good in the first place. But we'll see.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's
also, it has an always-on component. I think even in the single player, it's always online.
That's a good question though for the chat. Is anybody excited for Redfall? But yeah, as soon as I saw it was like a Left 4 Dead ripoff, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
But even that, like even them, they're trying to backpedal and say it's not a Left 4 Dead clone. So it's like they don't even know what the fuck their game is.
Yeah. So what is it? It looks like it.
What is it to me? What is it? Looks like to me? It looks like a first-person online shooting game with some monsters in it.
They said it was Borderlands. They were like, we're closer to Borderlands because it's a looter shooter. I didn't see a lot of loot dropping in that gameplay. So I don't
in that trailer.
Yeah, I didn't see.
I don't know.
I just feel like
go ahead.
I feel like people are getting excited for Redfall because it's something new, but I feel like for the most part, from what they showed, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really impress. But then again, I'm not the fan base for that game. You know, I'm not. You know, like I'm not into first-person shoot. As soon as I see a first-person shooter game, I've already just thrown it in the pile of who gives a shit.
All right. Anyway, to answer, go ahead, Carlos, and then we could answer the Joseph Staten question.
Yeah, just real quick with the Redfall stuff. I think a lot of us were just excited because it's a new game from
me.
Was a big studio, Arcane, making that, and it's one of the first Xbox sort of exclusive games under the new Microsoft Studios umbrella. So a lot of people are excited because of that, and it's Unreal 5. But yeah, speaking of games, just real quick, since we're probably not gonna have this segment, shout out your boy. Been playing something.
Your boy.
Which been playing?
Oh,
that is a question.
Jedi Fallen Order. That's why I vehemently, since I've been playing it recently, that I vehemently disagree that it's a Soulsborne type of game. It's really actiony, like traditional actiony kind of, with some Mass Effect kind of stuff sprinkled in. Kind of surprising.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm waiting for Diablo 4, man.
There you go.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, does Microsoft have a talent retention problem? I don't know.
Who's this guy, by the way?
I don't know.
Oh, the creative director of Halo 343.
Yeah. Oh, 343.
Well, it's a 343 issue.
It seems like a 343 thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think in general, and I have to say this, and this is the biggest fear I have with all of this Microsoft acquisition silliness, is that their uncreative energy will start to sap all the strength of all of these titles away, and they all just become weak facsimiles of what they formerly were.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, I don't like. Here's the thing. Like, okay, yes, Microsoft was able to pull along these franchises, but whenever they've gotten their hands on other things, they just pulled all the energy out of them. So I mean, they could just be a vampire and just be sucking all the power out of all these titles, and then they'll never be the same after. We shall see.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Like
Yeah.
But what if Bethesda just what if Bethesda just becomes the Fallout Starfield Oblivion studio, or what is it,
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls studio.
Then we get them on a regular basis instead of every decade and a half.
To be honest, what if here's the thing, it's like that if they're just in charge of those sort of titles and not able to expand and do those things, I don't know. I feel like I just hope to God that all these acquisitions they allow them to do what they do beyond just letting them do what they want to do in the beginning, and then all of a sudden start tightening the reins and start telling them what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Because again, we're talking about a big company, like Microsoft, who has been known to essentially sap the strength out of what they put out.
Wulong felt very Team Ninja. Is the only thing I can say to that.
Was that a Microsoft game?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a Team Ninja.
I could have sworn that was a multi-platform game, to be honest.
No. Microsoft owns Team Ninja.
Wait, Wulong? Hold on. Whoa.
Wait, is Wulong on PlayStation?
Yeah,
yes.
so.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
It's owned by Microsoft, but yeah, it's a multi-platform.
Oh, okay.
Wait, hold on. Ninja Theory. Microsoft owns Ninja Theory. They don't own Team Ninja.
No, the game. They own the game. Sorry, the game. They own the game.
Yeah, no. Wulong is a multi-platform game.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's on everything. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. No,
apparently I'm just wrong. Apparently I got my companies mixed up.
Yeah. Team Ninja independent. Ninja Theory owned by Microsoft. There you go.
Okay, so the fact that it feels like a Team Ninja game, it doesn't mean anything then.
Yeah, it is a Team Ninja game.
It feels like a Team Ninja game because it's made by Team Ninja and not Ninja Theory.
Yeah. There's a difference between Ninja Theory and Team Ninja.
I know there is. That's just I want to blame that on my dyslexia.
All right.
Okay.
So again, will these games, like, once all the dust is settled and once they're in, once everybody's all in their, sitting in their seats and in their places, and they put out their titles that they've already had in development for a few years now, like Starfield and a few other games have already been in development. Once all that stuff the dust is settled from all that previous content, now after that point will be the point that really matters, is if they continue to push this sort of creativity, or will they start to pull in the reins and say, no, you don't do that, you do this, and we get another 343 situation, or we get another 505 studio situation where they're not making anything but those games.
Yeah. All right, moving on here. Got a few from Mob Hits. Right. Would Soul Calibur 2 still be held as one of the greatest fighting games if the guest characters weren't in there? Yeah, of course. I
think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those characters were cool, but they didn't fundamentally change the game. It's like
no, they didn't at all. Like, it was nice to have. Was it Heihachi and all that sort of stuff?
PlayStation's
PlayStation
and
Master Chief. Yeah,
it was cool.
To be honest,
To
be honest, the one cool thing about it is that almost, if you had all three consoles, it almost made you want to buy all three to see what they did with them, right? And you also get something special for you on each of the consoles. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but
what was it? Didn't Dead or Alive have a Halo character, not Master Chief?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they had a what was it? A Halo? Was it a Halo? Adam, what Halo? There was like a Halo or a Spartan that was in the Dead or Alive game, wasn't there?
I just remember Master Chief popping up in one of them, but I thought that was Soul Calibur.
No, it wouldn't be Soul Calibur because he doesn't have a blade.
Well, he kind of does.
He does, but I don't remember it being Soul Calibur. I thought it was Dead or Alive.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, I mean,
Killer Instinct had a bunch of guest characters, but they're all Microsoft related.
They're all Microsoft characters. Like, in other words, they didn't get the rights to like something, some other, and it's also a specific console. But Soul Calibur in general was a good game already. Those extra guest characters that were also console exclusive characters are just a nice little explanation point to it, to an already really good game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well said. All right, next question here. Would a Zelda X Mario crossover game work? What kind of game would it be?
I don't know.
That's my what kind of would it be an open world game? Would it be like a fighting game, racing game? Like what?
It'd be an RPG.
They already have.
They're in Mario Kart.
Yeah, they're Mario Kart.
So it wouldn't. To be honest, if it was a crossover game, it wouldn't be anything that would be prudent. It wouldn't be anything meaningful to any of their franchises.
Yeah,
you know
you
what
guys
I
mean Super Smash Brothers?
It would be something totally unrelated, like a Super Smash Brothers, or just in other words, a character in a game, in an unrelated title.
Yeah,
you
couldn't put Link in a mainline Mario game or Mario in a mainline Zelda game.
It wouldn't work. Yeah. So I guess the answer is no.
Yeah.
There's a question. That's
what's up? What's the question?
Go ahead, Brett.
You could make it an RPG. Yeah. You could make it an RPG.
It's unrelated. Unrelated to both of them.
Yeah, it's we said with Smash Brothers or Mario Kart. If you did Paper Mario with Link in it, or
No, I'm talking like a Kingdom Hearts crossover kind of thing, where you just they're both pulled out, everybody's pulled out of their universe or whatever.
Yeah, but but it still goes with what I'm saying. It's a game that's totally pulled out of whatever their original.
It couldn't be canon for any of them.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. It can't be. It can't be either a Mario game. It can't really be a.
That's why I asked what genre it would be. That's why I was wondering. Because it would have to be removed from both of them.
Yeah.
And
so if you said which, I think in Mario RPG there was a beta for a Link character in there, and there's also I think Samus is in in the original Mario RPG, right, Chris? I think.
And the old one, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're in there.
Like goofs like that, show up. It's just Goombas are in Link's Awakening,
Yeah, but it's like I don't think they would be. I don't think it would just be a Mario game with Link in it, or a Zelda game with Mario in it. I think it would be, again, along the lines of Super Smash Brothers. Some genre of game that's totally unrelated to their own genres. Again, Brett would say, you could do a kind of Kingdom Hearts deal. It's some other character showing up, and they pop up in there.
Yeah. All right. Next one from Mob Hits. What's up?
Before that, Tony, there's some Kishak asked a question that would be a pretty good one, because I know someone could answer this question.
Yeah, no, I got it in there. I also got Mighty Nerd's question. Cool. So we good.
We good.
All right. What does 2023 look like for Microsoft after closing the Activision Blizzard deal, dumping a slew of games on Game Pass from that acquisition, and having some AAA first-party games come out this year? Can this be a jumpstart for Microsoft in terms of taking some market share? Not this year.
No.
Probably
nothing changes this year.
Nothing changes this year. So, yeah, can it really answer? Nothing's going to change this year.
Let me ask the same question for next year, though.
If they come out with games, sure.
Yeah, I feel like they need to a little bit. I think that this year probably needs to be the year where we see at least a few mainline launches.
Well, not only that, but next year we're going to see Call of Duty is going to come out next year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Adam. There should be a mainline Call of Duty coming out next year.
We have another one coming this year that wasn't supposed to, but yeah, we have another one. It was going to be DLC, and they're just going to keep going. They're going to build it up. So it's an extension of Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, and then next year, once the deal is through, the campaign is going to be there for Microsoft. So every Call of Duty commercial is going to be tied to an Xbox advertisement. So that's going to start sort of swaying sort of the whole thing with Call of Duty, because I feel like it's going to start transitioning from being a mostly PlayStation title to an Xbox title.
Now, let me ask you this: do you think it's going to happen this generation, or do you think it's going to happen in the switch over next generation?
Yeah, not this. I don't think, unless they make it exclusive, but not this generation now.
Yeah, I kind of I agree with that in the sense that like I think I think Sony does have a leg to stand on. They are going to see a migration because of Call of Duty players. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. Like if they perceive that they're going to get a better experience on an Xbox, then they'll go that route. But I don't know that they'd throw $600 out the window to do it. I think they'll just kind of be like, the next time the option comes up, which system they want to buy. I think there is a decent chance that they'll kind of go Microsoft. Again, just for the perception that like, well, they own the company, so I'm probably going to get the best experience there.
And by then, it's very plausible that most of them aren't even going to need to pay $600 to do this. They'll just have an app in their TV or their Roku or whatever that'll have Game Pass on it.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, if it goes that way, then... And I think that kind of keys back to one of the things we were talking about in our earlier conversation. Like, I think you have a lot more faith that we will be fully transitioned to streaming. Like, I think that Microsoft is in a good place. I don't think they're going to basically revolutionize the game industry in the next 5-10 years.
Well, I think the thing is, it's more of me looking at it at a negative sense to Sony, because Sony, what they're doing is like, oh, the status quo has served us well. The status quo has put us at the top. Let's stay there. And then they do all these little toe dips, toe dip here, toe dip there, toe dip everywhere. But they're still their whole vision. My vision is the status quo, and that's to release the consoles, do their first party exclusive titles that are the Uncharted, the God of Wars, and all those, and Last of Us, and then remake all those. And that's their sort of what they do. But I feel like what Microsoft is doing is a way more enticing platform for the masses and for the younger generations. Having a Game Pass app in their TVs and in their PCs and in their desktop apps and just everywhere. And Sony's getting there also. Like, I mean, they're obviously doing the PS Now stuff, but Microsoft's more at the forefront, and I feel like they're the ones doing more innovation in that sense and putting more resources into that. So that's why
I absolutely agree with that. But you don't think? I mean, Sony has a pretty hefty market share. I think as soon as they start bleeding some of it out, that they'll pivot before. Like, I don't see Sony dropping below 50% market share probably in the next few generations. Like, maybe it'll change, but I think if they own, let's say, 80% of high-end consoles right now, like, even if that jump, even if Microsoft takes like another 20% before Sony gets their shit together, I think they'll get their shit together, don't you?
Not sure. I mean, Jim Ryan has not instilled that much faith in me.
That's true. That's true.
We'll see how they do. Obviously consoles are still going to come out next generation, because they need to make, they need to get their prioritized platforms for the masses so they can sell games. But having the whole Game Pass everywhere is a much better, for me, at least for me, a much better means to try to sell their games to potential customers.
Yeah. My fear is that Sony is, and it wouldn't be a bad move, that Sony kind of tries to put themselves out there as a more premium brand, because people will pay more for what they think is premium, or sometimes they'll just think the thing that they pay more for is premium. So
who's clacking?
That's me. I'm sending a nasty
angry letter.
Something from Steam. They sent me a nasty message, so I'm replying back.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here. Mighty Nerd. Are any of you guys interested in Final Fantasy XVI? Also, what do you guys think about Square moving to real-time action? Yeah, you guys already know. This is probably like the main game I'm looking forward to this year. As far as the whole live real-time action, I've just had to accept that Final Fantasy is never going back to turn-based.
Yep, never going back.
Just accepted it. You know, I would like it if it was turn based, but it ain't gonna happen. But I'm hyped. I'm hyped for the game. Yeah. So give me that
It'll
shit.
be it'll the reason why it's happened is why anything thinks all of this happens is because, again, the turn based does not appeal to general audiences, and to be honest, it's like once they actually moved to that sort of that sort of the style, their games did so much better than what they did before, even though their old games did very well for what they were. But they especially with how much money they spend on games these days. Do you think they wouldn't try to, what do they call it, widen the net as much as possible? Like, can you actually see a company like Square Enix spending the money that they spend on a turn-based RPG that they do on these current versions of Final Fantasy? It will not happen. That is not even like guaranteed right there.
Yo, by the way, real quick, want to give a huge shout out to Puff and Cloud for subscribing, and he also sent us a message. He said, "You guys are true gamers. Always a good show."
My man, I like that. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
thank you.
Good stuff. All right, moving on. Last question of the night, people. Did anyone see the Mario movie? What are your thoughts?
Loved it.
Yo, Adam and Rich literally are in love with this movie. Like
that's how you do it.
Movie of the year.
You don't. Yes, I would say yes, because movie for the past. This is a movie I've been waiting over 30 years for. I never thought I would see a movie like this. No bullshit, no fluff, no adding what's current in the current events and none of that shit. Just giving straight up Mario play. We're taking from Smash, we're taking from Kart, we're taking from plumbing, we're taking from all the games that and we're meshing it together with just a simple storyline that you're also familiar with, and that's it. We're not overthinking anything, and we're not giving you some special moral story here and something that you can walk away. It's like, you know what I learned from this? None of that shit. You learned nothing from this. You just went there and enjoyed it.
What do you say to the critics that say there's too much fan service?
That's fine with me. I love the fans.
The critics are worthless, man.
They're worthless. If that's their bitching point, then they're losers. They're a bunch of fucking losers. This is what we want. This is the fan service, because it's the lack of fan service when we watch a movie that has no relevance to the source material, like Assassin's Creed. And it's like, what the hell was that? No, I want to see this. I want to see these guys running around in carts, and I want to see a Smash Brothers brawl, and I want to see. This is what I come to expect, and if I don't see it, then I'm back with the Super Mario with John Leguizamo. I didn't see it there. I'm seeing it here, and this was great. The crowd was great. The kids, we saw this in the theaters. The kids were happy. All the kids, parents were laughing and then remembering stuff, because if you got there early, they showed all the old NES commercials. They showed from even from the Game Boy to the Super Nintendo.
Where'd you watch this?
Flick's Brewhouse.
Oh, okay.
There's one of those to get the food. Yeah. So they showed all the commercials. They had a big like a posing board in the front, so the kids took pictures and stuff in front. They had a special souvenir bucket you can get, but that was already gone at that point. They said they only had like 200, so that was gone. But it was great. If there was one gripe that I could have with this, is that I'm still not sold on Chris Pratt as Mario. I'm not sold on it. That everybody else was fine. Mario's dad, the mom, the family thing. Then to find out that Nintendo, not only did they approve when they found out that they wanted to do a backstory, they sent them the original images of the sketches that they had, because they did plan on adding the dad and a few others, but they never got around to do it and say, hey, these are what we had. And they're like, oh, cool, we'll work with that. So that's even better, because like, oh, wow, you didn't just come off with something on top of your head of what they would look like. This is what Nintendo said they were going to do. So
how many frames is this?
This movie is 15 frames. 15 frames. 60? And that's fine. Nope, not 60, sorry.
Ray tracing?
No ray tracing on this one. It's on a projection. It's on a projection. It was like awesome. Nintendo. Yeah, exactly. I was so happy with this, watching this. I was like, this is it. This is what I was hoping for many, many, many years ago when we first heard that Nintendo was going to make it, and we didn't get it. And then I was like, shit, that put a bad taste in their mouth. They said they were never going to work with Hollywood again, blah, blah, blah. It didn't happen. So this is great. I'm glad. Maybe some people bitching about it, but you know what? Remember this. Nintendo had a lot of control over this. They had final say in the script to see it. So if you like Nintendo games, you're going to like this movie because there's really no Hollywood feel of this. This was all, it felt like Nintendo. They might as well just said Nintendo movie, and that's it. Because
this is one of those times where we're fortunate that they did control this movie. Because it sounded like it was going to be very different and very much disappointing, like the other shit we've seen.
Yeah, exactly, and it's cool, and it's because Universal was smart. It's like, you know what, we can make a lot of money here. We've already milked all the Minions and Despicable Me to death. We've done prequels. We have this great animation studio. We need to do something else.
Gotta do something.
And apparently, gotta do something. Gotta have something else. So they reached out. They produced a little short of the animation style, how they would depict the characters. They really pushed to convince Nintendo, yo, we can do this. You know, you got the guys that did Teen Titans. They were the ones behind the putting this together. The story, and that's awesome. People love Teen Titans. I enjoy Teen Titans. And so I'm thrilled. I was thrilled when I left. I was like, this is great. I hope they make at least 20 to 30 more of these. And then I die. And then it's like, you know, I mean, what more can I want? People can say, well, they want, but you know what? I'm old. I'm 45. I'm going to be 46. I grew up with this. None of this bullshit of like, oh, yeah, when I was a kid, I played. No, I remember when it was brand new. When there was this was an old game on the shelf that I got exposed to. No, I saw it when it first came out. The ads, a commercial. I went to the Wiz. I got a Nintendo with Duck Hunt and Mario. I was there from day one, and I'm still there now. As much as I hate Nintendo and stuff, I still play Mario Kart on my Steam Deck because that's a butter system. I still enjoy my Mario game. I do. You know, Odyssey and all of them, it's fun. I enjoy it. I will always enjoy it. And now I could say I enjoy it in this medium of movies.
Good stuff. By the way, I want to bring up some numbers. Let's have fun with numbers, man. All right. Super Mario movie made $377.5 million over the weekend. So it's the biggest opening ever for an animated movie, and it beat Frozen 2. It made shit, fucking crazy. It made it made $204.6 million domestically, $172.9 million globally.
That's insane.
Internationally and in global, $377.5 million. This is from Benji Sales. Shout out to Benji Sales. $1 billion box office run is now locked in. Incredible result for Nintendo and Illumination.
Wow,
crazy.
Nice.
It was
good for them.
It was good.
Go ahead.
And those middling reviews did nothing to it, as it should.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, they're like, oh yeah, this movie's just nothing but fan service. There's nothing here. Play the video game instead. It's better. Look at this shit. You know,
Chris. They don't. This time they don't have to boast about selling the Mariners anymore. They can boast about some other stuff now.
You know.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this movie. Not enough to go to the theaters to go see it, but when it comes out on VOD, man, gonna be there day one.
I do want to go to the theater and see it.
I will.
If I had kids, I would.
Yeah, I'll say this though. Even though I don't care for this movie, will not watch it. Don't give a shit. Right, my dislike of pretentious, pompous, fucking movie critics is greater than my hatred for Nintendo. So that's why I'm cheering for this movie to do well. You know, I want to do well just to make these fucking idiots look dumb. You know, because otherwise, go ahead.
What is this? What we're 2 for 2 in the last 2 video game movies? Wasn't the most recent one good? What was it? God damn it!
Which one was the last one?
Oh, never mind. It wasn't a movie.
It was a TV show.
TV show. I gotta say, besides that, and I know this is controversial. I'm gonna take
whoa.
One of my favorite video game related movies and I have this on my special place in my classics. And every once in a while somebody would send something like, "Why this one? Really? Did you mess this?" No, Ready Player One. I loved the book. And what Steven Spielberg did, pulling that together, the way he put it together with all the connections with just not the pop culture, but all the gaming references and all of it, it was fantastic. That is, oh man, that's up there. I love that. Ready Player One.
Speaking about video game movies that are not based on video games, my favorite video game movie is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That's a fucking video game movie.
Yep, that's a classic for me too. Yeah. Pixels is up there too. Pixels is pretty good. Now, a lot of people didn't see that one.
That's the one with Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah, with Adam Sandler. That was funny as hell. Yeah. That was really funny.
Adam Sandler and what's Pablo?
The dude from Boy from him, and also the guy from the little person from Game of Thrones.
Oh. Little person.
I forgot his name. Sorry, Dinklage. Peter Dinklage.
Oh, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. He plays a funny badass.
Well, that's when Peter Dinklage. He was on an incredible run after Game of Thrones, and then he did Destiny, and then he did Pixels,
There's a wizard on that moon.
Oh, and then he did.
Here's a question with that one then. Who's at fault? Yes, he really didn't add any delivery to those lines. I remember hearing, I'm like, what the hell? Whose fault is it? Is it his or is it the director's fault? Because the director needs to tell him. He's just reading the page. Say, hey, you're supposed to put a little more oomph in this. You're getting shot at. Your guy needs to run. Can you guys act like you're concerned? Because it sounded like there was no direction. It was like, can you read these lines? Thanks.
It didn't. It sounded like there wasn't a second take. It was just he handed him the paper and he's like, there's a wizard on the moon? I mean, you want me to read that? He's like, nope, you did it. That's good. We got it.
Yeah, exactly. Fire the director of this. Let him go. But they fixed it.
No, I'm just thinking about this one scene from the fucking Simpsons. Krusty comes into a recording studio, says his shit in just 5 lines, walks out, and the director's like, all right, Krusty, we're putting the tape in now. Start recording. Like a same thing just happened. Oh God!
Not kind of video game related movie. Have any of you guys seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
People are actually talking. They're talking about it in the chat. We'll talk about it now.
What'd you think? I saw it today.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Okay, so I really had my reservations coming into this, especially with some of the fan baiting. That's like the writers are like, we like to emasculate our main characters or our male characters. Which is bullshit. But I gotta say, movie was kind of fucking awesome, man. Like, it was a genuinely good movie. It was well acted. The script was on point. The writing was good. The acting was good. The pacing was good. There was a lot of
Is it like what's the humor? Is it a little more mature, like the Vox Mach, that one? Or is it like that, or is it more?
It actually kind of reminds me of the first Marvel movies that when they were still good.
Okay.
Like there's a little bit of there are jokes in there, but the whole thing isn't jokey. It's not quite Vox Machina, because Vox Machina is definitely like some rated R shit. But like there's a fair amount of ass kicking. People died. There's not a lot of gore, but like you can tell like, oh, that dude did not survive that kind of thing. To me, it kind of reminded me of like tonally, not any way like how the movie is done, but like tonally, kind of like a Ghostbusters movie, man. Like it was fun. It was kind of serious. It was kind of fun. It was well written.
Oh, that's high praise. You're talking original Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Well, like even just like little things. Like there was a point where like there was a bunch of fighting going on, and then like the two wizards squared off, and a basket just goes rolling through the background like a tumbleweed. I'm like, it is honestly just little shit like that does make me happy. And like for the most part, they stuck pretty close to actual D&D rules. And the couple times they did, veer off, like everybody knows D&D rules are soft rules. Whatever your DM will allow is allowed. So I wasn't really stressing about it that much. But yeah, genuinely a good movie. I hope they make more of them. This could be a big franchise for them.
I remember years ago I saw like a trailer. Is this
the one with Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, Marlon Wayans. Is this the Marlon Wayans one?
Oh my
No,
god!
that was the old one with Jeremy Irons.
That actually
that
did come
was
out.
awesome.
That one did come out. It's all right. See,
Yeah, that was
a-
years and years ago.
Yeah, that's why I was like, damn, this has been in development forever.
Was
like
Joe
mid-2000s.
Manganiello involved in this one? Because I know that like he always
who?
wanted to make D&D. Joe Manganiello, he's an actor. He's
Oh,
been in a lot
the
of stuff.
werewolf guy, right? Is that what I'm thinking about?
I
know he was Flash in the first Spider-Man movie, and he was Deathstroke.
yes.
Yeah, he's
So
he's a werewolf in one of those vampire shows. I don't know.
I don't remember, but
Anyway, go on.
oh, in a True
True
Blood,
Blood.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy, he's a huge D&D guy.
Yeah, he's
And
a
he's
nerd.
always,
yeah.
I think
He's a nerd.
Yeah, and he's a nerd. So I always wondered if he was involved with this because he's always been preaching the D&D for the longest.
Yeah, I just imagine him and like Henry Cavill getting together and play D&D and shit. These big buff dudes and shit playing with little
Or building
toys.
PCs together.
You know, I love it. I love it, man. This shit is awesome. All right, good stuff. Anyway, we're done here, man. Do we have anything to plug? I'm guessing that's a no.
Not.
I don't think I've ever played Level 12. Yeah, it's still on hiatus until the one. But I'm just thinking about when I play D&D, we just use a sheet and dice. That's it. I didn't have a figurine to represent my character.
Oh,
Man, I'll say this though, because I only ever played D&D with like Brett and Rachel, and it was fucking awesome. You know, I felt like I became a true nerd at that point. You know, it's like I did the final. Actually, the last thing I need to do is do like a tabletop game. Then I'll be a nerd. You know, or maybe
do you own your own dice?
Yeah, I do actually.
That's enough. That's it. You qualify.
Yeah, I was like, I'm playing this shit. I might as well buy some fucking dice.
Your own set of dice. That's enough.
Yeah. Roll up like, I got dice, motherfucker. What you want?
Drop that 20-sided Dixter. Go for it. Let's see what you
settle this shit right now. You know, play that shit, fucking Ashy Larry and shit.
Your guy running into the room. He fell. He broke his ankle. Yeah. He dropped your exotic.
Yeah, he fucked it up, man. Take that shit to the Bronx, you know.
Dude, I want to see people playing D&D in the Bronx alleys.
Oh man, I imagine that shit. All right, yeah, it'll turn into Brett. What's the name of that? It's Cyberpunk / D&D.
Oh, Shadowrunner.
Shadowrun. Yeah. So imagine that'll be imagine that in the Bronx. I think that'll work.
That or the movie Date Night, if anyone's ever seen that one, where they get lost. With
Steve Carell and
they end up in the city and all bad parts.
That shit was hilarious.
Everything bad happens to them. That's what happens when you go to. Once that train goes there, you stay on it until it kicks back. Don't even go to train.
Don't get off.
That's a good. Don't get
and they're like, "We're last stop." You stay next to the conductor. You say, "You let me know when we're leaving. I am not getting out. Do not get out." I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't go above 125th Street, man, in Manhattan. Like, no, there's nothing but good. There's nothing bad up north like that. You know.
Look at the wildlings.
Yeah. Oh shit. All right. Anyway, we're done, people. Make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. You can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's towards Throwdown Show. You can also visit Throwdown Show to listen to past episodes, throwdownshow.com. We are also on YouTube, and if you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody. Go see Mario.
And Brett Murdoch.
Peace out, people.
Right. I also forgot to mention something. It's also for you guys in the chat here, or the panel here. Throwdown will be on Wednesday this week, because Manny and I have to handle some business, this week. So yeah, Wednesday we'll be coming at you. Hopefully we'll get some good gaming news by then, All right. We will see you on Wednesday then. Later, people.
Later, guys.
Peace.